marveling at for the last 2 years with just how solid they are on both sides of the ball.
Coach, we'll begin now with questions. First for John Werner of the Waco Tribune-Herald. John, you ready with a question? Okay, we'll go to Eddie Pells then of the Associated Press. John, we'll come back to you in just a minute. Let's go to Eddie Pells of the AP.
Hey, Mark, just kind of going off of that, I know you do quick turnarounds a lot, but how do you come down from something like that and get them ready, for something like less than 48 hours later?
Hey, that's the task. You just got to compartmentalize stuff, and obviously, I think we all enjoyed the heck out of it last night, and probably none of us were able to sleep very soundly until early morning, and then now we've already had a couple film sessions, and we're getting ready to practice and start gearing up, and then we'll have a full day tomorrow too. So. I think that'll also help with the late start.
John, we're going to come right back to you then. Waco Tribune-Herald.
Okay. Coach, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Coach, you mentioned Baylor, how much you respect them. Have you seen a guard squad, a squad of guards quite like this?
No. I mean, not that we've played against, with just the level of skill that they possess. Obviously, the way they shoot the ball, I think they're shooting the three better than collectively better than anybody in the country, and they play off each other so well. They're complete. They guard their yard defensively. They're very handsy on defense. They make the right reads and ball screens and off penetration. And obviously shoot the ball really well. I hope or think maybe it's a little bit like preparing for my guards, because I think they do the same, present the same kind of issues.
Thank you.
Coach, next we'll take a question from Allison Williams, ESPN.
Oops, sorry. Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, Allison.
Hey, Coach Hugh. I'm curious, did you start kind of installing some of maybe the defensive principles you would see with Baylor a while back in anticipation of this type of matchup?
As far as practicing against it, or as far as preparing, on the offensive side of things or on the defensive?
Yeah, either. I'd heard that maybe you had started working on some stuff a while back.
Look, we've always had Baylor in the rear view mirror or whatever, in the back seat, kind of as a look. If we're going to win this thing, we're probably at some point going to have to play them, because I always thought we were the two best teams. So, a little bit. I wish we had, a normal 3 or 4 day prep, because it really does, the way they defend and keep you from getting middle, and some of the things they do in the post and all that, I think is different than what you see on a regular basis. And then also, in order to guard them, it's different, with just how the guards play off each other, the isolations that they kind of bring at you. And then also, when Vital's in there and John, as opposed to when Mayer's in there, it's a lot in 30 hours or whatever, but it is what it is. So my guys have been great at game prep all season, and they've been so consistent with their effort and attention to detail on game night. So definitely banking on that.
Coach, our next question is from Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News. Mike.
Congratulations, Mark. Mike DeCourcy, Sporting News. I missed maybe the first question or two, so if this has been asked and answered, you can say that and move on. There were a lot of discussion about the idea that after your game against Baylor was postponed, canceled, that you and Scott were trying to get it back on the schedule. How serious was that, and how long did you go through that process before you gave up on the idea?
It was very serious, and we tried. We tried, and I think probably, oh man, I'd say once we got into first or second week of January or something, it was looking like the Big 12 schedule was going to be so hard to, they had already had cancellations, I believe. And so it was going to be hard to slide a non-league game in when they had so many games to make up. But I mean, Scott and I were on the phone. Scott and I were planning this all the way back into July. And we're really trying like crazy to actively get out and talk to other coaches who were great about scheduling games and playing games to just, after losing the tournament last year, to just put college basketball back in the forefront of everybody's minds here in the late fall and winter, and really had some good traction. We all had good games set up, and obviously ours was one of them. We always knew we wanted to play because we knew we'd be, in the top 5 in some fashion. But when we got the shocking news the morning of our game, that didn't stop us. We kept trying and by the time we got to mid-January, it looked pretty futile. So then we just said, well, let's do everything we can to make it all the way to this point. So pretty amazing that we both did.
Up next, we'll take a question from Karthik Venkataraman from KREM2 in Spokane.
Hey, Coach.
Go ahead, Karthik.
Computer froze up there a little bit. Yeah, in a way, are you happy that this game kind of didn't get rescheduled and now you get to play that most highly anticipated game from the non-conference on the biggest stage in college basketball?
Yeah, I think like I said earlier, we had our little futile human plans, but, God always has a plan. And as is usually the case, his plan is better than ours. So I think the way it turned out is probably the best scenario you could possibly imagine for college basketball in general, and even heck, sports, in America. And I think it's been great for both programs with just all the attention and everything it's generating.
The next question comes from Pete Thamel of Yahoo.
Mark, I asked this acknowledging it's not on the forefront of your mind 24 hours before you play for the title. But next year during the tournament, next year during the season, there's going to be obviously new name, image, and likeness rules. We don't know what those are. How do you think the Final Four would be different? A shot like Jalen's, he could be capitalizing off that today financially. I mean, the world is going to change pretty dramatically. I'm wondering if you have some general thoughts on what that could feel like a year from now.
Well, I'm hoping that we can all collectively get together and do the right thing. I think there's a lot of us that have been trying to help and working on that, and are even currently working on it when we do get breaks in the schedule. I'm hoping whatever we come up with, it'll end up being great for our players, but also great for college basketball. And it seems like everybody likes to nitpick at it and throw out all the bad stuff. But if anything, last night it shows you all the, all the great stuff. And that's why whatever you want to call it, it is worth saving. And, we don't need to overhaul the whole thing. It's just like anything that's been around for a while. It needs some maintenance, and it needs some very thoughtful maintenance, and especially from the people that are involved with it. And maybe, not from the people that aren't really involved with it and don't really understand all the inner workings and how it all works.
Next question is for Zach Braziller of the New York Post.
Zach Braziller, New York Post. Mark, I was wondering if you had a chance to talk with Adam Morrison since the shot. He's made obviously headlines with his reaction on the radio, and obviously everything, the way that your UCLA game ended so long ago with him, it's kind of been all over the news today.
I haven't, and ironically, my sports information director Barry just played it for me on the way over here to the press conference, and it was awesome. It was awesome to hear Mo's emotion, and I know Mo very well, and he's a friend now, and yeah, he's not usually moved that kind of emotion. So I think it was that was a pretty special moment, and I'm happy for him and proud of him for kind of letting his guard down, because he's just a great guy, and he's a great Zag, and I think we've all moved past that moment and everything with UCLA, but I think it was just you know, it was good for him to have that, and again to see just how he's got both feet in and all in on his support for our guys and for our program.
Dana O'Neill up next from The Athletic.
Mark, obviously you know about program builds, but arguably what Scott has done is obviously completely different and exceptionally difficult. I'm just wondering, as a coach, kind of what your thoughts are on what he's been able to do under the most incredible of circumstances.
Hey, Dana, it's absolutely unequivocally just off the charts, and I just don't think it's ever been seen, and I'm glad it's now coming to light. I mean, you know, we're side by side in our meeting rooms there, and we've been hanging out a lot. I don't know if it's safe to admit yet, but we're partners in pickleball and are undefeated in the bubble, I might add. So that's been fun. But we have talked about that. You know, I mean, we've talked from where we were to where we are, but ours was a lot smoother, and you know, it just didn't come from a dark place. And where they were, it's unbelievable what he's been able to do. And I also feel like he's had to fight through some, you know, just some totally inaccurate, you know, portrayals or whatever, you know, of he's a phenomenal basketball coach. Just watch his teams play, and he has the incredible ability for just eternal optimism. It's just that's such a gift too. And I mean, I just have, you know, the highest amount of respect for him and what he's been able to do, and actually for the Baylor administration to helping him with the process and growing with him to you know, they're a legit powerhouse now in college basketball, and you know, Scott and staff, and then obviously all these great players they've been able to get deserve all the credit.
Matt Norlander of CBS.
Come on, Mr. Technology, you of all people.
I thought our beloved host was going to unmute me, so I didn't want to click the button twice and get into this situation.
I would never take away that privilege from you, Matt.
There we go.
I'd love to mute you if I had the power.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, I actually I have two quick questions. The first being the Suggs block and pass and transition to Timmy. It was a 77 game at that moment with 2 minutes to go. It felt like in the building that play gave your team a certain boost that who's to say if it was going to completely change the game if they had gotten 2 points instead of you guys turning it around. But did you feel in that moment last night that play might have given you extra life to increase your chances of winning?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, yeah, I mean, the energy was definitely palpable. But I would also add, like, who else but Jalen? I mean, if that wasn't Jalen Suggs and just a snapshot there, like, in a lot of different ways, we kind of messed up the switch, so he was a step behind it on the switch, but he didn't quit on the play, and only him as a point guard would go up and try to block a 6'10" guy's dunk attempt and still have the wherewithal to block it clean, go out of bounds, get both feet in. And then, you know, he's the only guy on our team who would even remotely even think about trying to throw that pass. Thank God for that. And he's also the only guy on our team, and probably the only guy I've ever coached that could complete that pass. And then Drew deserves a lot of credit for, I mean, sprinting down the floor at 6'10" and having great hands to catch it and finish it. And just an amazing play and kind of sums up Jalen's competitive spirit and how he never quits, his athleticism, his vision, but also his just crazy confidence in his ability to be able to make plays like that.
And then the other question was, you've been on the wrong end of a few kind of classic heartbreakers. Your Arizona game, kind of near the start of your career. I mean, that's just an amazing all-time game. Obviously the 06 one with UCLA, and then the championship one 4 years ago against Carolina. There might be one or two I'm forgetting, but to be on the other side of it the way that you were last night, how would you describe that feeling after having gone through what this tournament can provide, as a coach and as a program, that kind of exhilaration, because you know full well what it's like to be on the other side of that kind of result.
I totally do, and I think that's probably why, looking back at the ending, why I just gave it to Jay Wright. Like I've been on, from the euphoria of the shot to just the empathy for Mick and his staff. I wanted to reach out to them immediately and just say, awesome job, and just congratulate him on just what a heck of a coach he is and how well had his guys prepared. And that, it was just much like I felt after Arizona and even maybe that North Carolina game. Nobody really lost. The other team just won. And I definitely think that was the case last night. We just happened to have the ball last. So that was the best thing that could have happened to us.
Lucas Weiss next from the Undefeated.
Hey, Mark, Lucas Weiss with the Undefeated. Congrats on making it to the championship game. You said before the tournament that you'd feel comfortable putting the ball into Andrew Nembhard's hands down the stretch. What he did in overtime last night, from the defense to that three-point shot to put you guys up 5, was that what you're looking for from Andrew in those big game situations down the stretch?
Absolutely. I mean, our entire organization has the utmost confidence in him. He's just got a great basketball feel for the game, and he understands when to make the right play and quite frankly, when to kind of hold off and live for the next action or the next play. And so I was proud of him. I've been after him to be more and more assertive, and that was a big time shot and just a big time delivery on the shot. I think it put us up 5 there at the time. So yeah, no doubt about it.
Billy Witz, New York Times.
Yeah, hi, Mark. I just wanted to follow up on the question Mike asked you about playing Baylor and trying to reschedule that game. Were there discussions of playing it in Spokane or Waco or a neutral site and all? Yeah, and I want to follow up to that.
Yeah, it was all neutral. And to be honest with you, I think we both felt really obligated to CBS, because CBS put really a lot out to make the game happen here in Indy. And then look, it was nobody's fault, but you just feel guilty with it. That a COVID situation kind of robbed everybody that opportunity. So, we looked at numerous places. I mean, from obviously Scott wanted it in, I think he tried to throw out Fort Worth or something like that. And I wasn't too keen on that. But we looked, man, in Vegas. We looked, I want to say, in Denver. We were trying to Kansas City. The Pentagon in Sioux Falls was up for consideration. We were looking at every place and every venue and every thing, and quite frankly, looking at every date. And then at Phoenix, we talked about Phoenix because his brother was at Grand Canyon. And his parents are down there, and actually one of my staff members' kids plays at Grand Canyon, so we thought that might be fun. But yeah, I mean, it didn't happen, but it wasn't from lack of effort on everybody's part.
And quickly, just what's the bigger challenge, if there is, in this quick turnaround from a game like last night? Is it physical or emotional, mental, and why?
I think both. I would say. I mean, there was a tremendous amount of energy expanded by our guys, and at the same time, obviously the emotions. I don't think you can get a more emotional roller coaster, over the course of 2 hours or 2.5 hours or whatever it was. So, and then it's not just that. I mean, you get back and, all your family and friends and everybody's reaching out to you and when you can't sleep. And so I think it's a combination of both. And I think that the key is to just, today's the day we got to start putting it aside and we got one more game to gear up with together, and so we got to give it everything we got mentally and physically and team wise and everybody in our whole organization does.
The final question for Coach Few will come from Zach Osterman of the Indy Star.
Mark, thank you for the time. Sorry, forgive me, I'm sure you're tired of being asked about the record, but I sort of want to ask about it from the other direction, and maybe the answer is just no, but I was just curious over the years, if you've ever had the chance to meet anybody from that 76 Indiana team, whether it's Coach Knight or any of the players here, anybody just kind of talk about their experiences and kind of what got them through that season.
Yeah, I have had, obviously, Quinn Buckner. I've met him through the course of, I don't know if it was NBA situations or whatever, or, when he was covering games or anything. And I have spent a lot, some time with Coach Knight. Obviously, we both love fly fishing. There was, Pat was working like crazy. We had a couple set up over the years. One even that we were trying like crazy to get to Russia and go fishing at one point. Tried hooking with him in Wyoming, I think, one time, or Montana. Just couldn't put it together. But yeah, we've had some great discussions. Never really about that particular team, but just coaching and in general, and we've had the opportunity to play his teams a couple times, and I just try to sit and listen, and he was one of the all-time greats, and what a team that was. I remember watching that team actually and rooting for them because they were a team, and that's what I have is we're a team, and so I think all along it's been, as this thing started gaining steam, it's just been an honor to be even mentioned in the same breath, with those guys. But, never were we really like, I don't know, thinking about doing this or whatever. We've just been trying to win the next game. And quite frankly, our goal all along is just to win this tournament. We just want to win this tournament. And, now here we are 1 game away, which is an amazing accomplishment for our group. And hopefully we can play great tomorrow night and get it done.
Coach, we do appreciate your time this afternoon and your extra few minutes here with us. Happy Easter to you and good luck tomorrow night against Baylor.
You got it. Happy Easter to all of you.
We'll be joined next by Joel Ayayi. He joins us from Gonzaga for a period of 15 minutes, and then we'll be getting right into Baylor after Joel concludes his session. The first question is going to go to Ben Bolch of the LA Times as soon as we get Joel in position. Joel, good afternoon. We'd like to welcome you and thank you for spending a couple minutes with us here as you head toward that final matchup against Baylor. Ben Bolch has the first question for you. He's from the LA Times. Ben.
Hey, Joel. Ben Bolch from the Los Angeles Times. Gonzaga is obviously in Pac-12 territory. Were you recruited by any Pac-12 schools, and did you consider them? And ultimately, what was it about Gonzaga that made you want to go there?
I had a couple Pac-12 team looking at me, but at the end of the day, I just chose Gonzaga because of the community that they have and the success they had with international players. And I just felt great about it. Keaton Tilly was there at the time I committed to, so it was a huge plus, and I think I made the right decision. Yeah.
Can you say which Pac-12 schools? And also, I saw that the Spokane reminded you somewhat of Bordeaux. Is that right?
Yeah. I said that because population wise, like Spokane and the surroundings, and Bordeaux and the surroundings, is basically the same. It's a 15-minute drive from outside of Bordeaux where I'm from. I'm not from the actual city itself, so Spokane Valley and like Liberty Lake and all that. I think that's what I meant by saying that. I kind of saw some people joking about it, but I'm like, that's kind of what I meant. Yeah.
Brenna Green is up next from KREM2 Television in Spokane.
Hi, Joelle. Brenna Green from
Hey.
2. Just watching the video back from last night when you walked off the floor with Jalen, you said, "I fancy you." Just is that a French saying? Just what was going through your mind when you were talking to him after the game?
It's like Jen and Dom and I, we've been watching Love Island. It's a British reality show, and they have the British lingo. And like I'm from France, so at school I learned the British English, not really the American English. And I know a bunch of people maybe understood the quote. They say that a lot when they just say like they like somebody, and he's my brother, and it was kind of my way to tell him that.
Chris Williams is up next from KWTX News.
Yeah, Chris Williams, KWTX News 10 in Waco. I'm curious what your impression on Baylor is. You two have both been atop of the AP poll all season long. So what do you kind of know about the team, and what are you guys going to need to do to beat them tomorrow night?
They're obviously a great team. I mean, well coached. I feel like, for them it's kind of a 2-season journey, kind of like us, because last year they were also in a great position when everything got stopped to be where they are at today. So I think that, those are the 2 most deserving teams in the past 2 years that are going to meet in the national championship game. And, to beat them, we're just going to have to be us. Obviously, they have a lot of firepower, especially with their 3 guards. And we're just going to have to, follow the game plan and just have a great attention to detail.
Dennis Patchen up next from SWXKHQ in Spokane.
Joel, it was such an emotional win yesterday. How do you guys flush that as fast as you can to prepare for this game?
Like Coach said, yesterday was the time to celebrate and enjoy, but it's a quick turnaround. And today we're already locked in, in whatever is next, which is Baylor. It was an emotional win, but as a competitor and as a high-level athlete, you have to be able to, flush it all out and get ready for whatever's next.
Staying in Spokane, Karthik Venkataraman from KREM2 Television.
Hey, Joel, Karthik from KREM2 Sports here. That had to be one heck of a moment when Jalen hits that shot and you guys get to run up on the table and you're right there with him, hitting him on his chest, celebrating with them. I mean, where does that rank among your favorite moments of your life, favorite sports moments of your life?
It has to be number 1. I mean, at the top of my head, I'm only 21, so I don't think, I had a bunch of time to have those moments, but that was definitely incredible. And, the situation, obviously, and the environment, and when it happened, obviously, make it even crazier.
Matthew Shianidi from Toronto.
Joel, what makes the guard play on this team so special? And in particular, what Andrew did with under 2 minutes to go, his stop when UCLA was 3-on-1 to the basket, and then him pulling up with that big three?
I think that we're all so unselfish, and we just are like high basketball IQ. We love sharing the ball, and we understand the game really well. We have that ability to make the right read, and I think that Andrew, when he came up with that ball screen, he just did something that I've seen him working on a while, and I had no doubt that shot will go in. That's just what he does, the confidence was here, and just nailed it.
Allison Williams up next from ESPN.
Hey, Joelle, Allison Williams, ESPN. Hey. Curious, having prepped to play Baylor back in December, was there a amount of familiarity that you guys already had with them as you get into your preparation this time around, or are they pretty different, pretty similar than what you were getting ready to face then?
There is obviously some similarities, but I think the game was like beginning of December, so it was four months ago. So a lot happened. Obviously, they're still a high-level team, so that didn't change. Maybe we got some more film on some more recent games, and maybe we'll pick up some new tendencies or something like that. But I'll leave that for the coach, and as players, all we can do is stay ready, do our job, and listen to the game plan.
Joel, the next question is going to be from the New York Times. The reporter's name is Billy Witz.
Hey, Joel. This whole season has been very different with, the crowds, either arenas being empty or greatly reduced. I think it was in 2015 when the last time the Final Four was in Indianapolis, and there were over 70,000 people at a game like last night. And I'm just wondering if you could maybe reflect on that moment last night when Jalen hit the shot, and what do you imagine that would have felt like if the entire football stadium was packed?
I think obviously the stadium would have erupted. I mean, I think it would have been really loud. I think it would have just been like bring that moment even more on a crazier side. But with the reality is it wasn't. We've been playing with a limited capacity of fans for quite a while now, and we got used to it. We're really thankful that we have a decent amount of fans in the stadium, and we heard them. It got pretty loud, even though the stadium was not fully packed. So.
Next up, a follow-up from Dennis Patchen from Spokane.
Joel, it's 9:00 start time tomorrow night locally here. How does Monday look for you? How do you pass the time? What do you do knowing that you have almost the entire day to wait to play the game?
We played at 8:30 yesterday, so you just do the same thing, maybe 30 minutes more. But I think we learned how to deal with it. Obviously, personally, I would rather play at 2 p.m. just because there is less weight. But you just have to have your little routine and your preparation. I think it really depends on every player. And me personally is all about, staying calm and composed and doing whatever I want to do.
Follow-up from Karthik Venkataraman of Krem 2 in Spokane.
Hey, Joel, Karthik from Krem 2 Sports again. How late did you all stay up last night? Were you guys texting each other after the game for a long time after it happened? I mean, what was it like when you got back to your hotel room, and did it really ever get settled, or was it still an adrenaline high for the whole entire night?
No, I think it got settled pretty quickly. We had team dinner, and after that, it was already pretty late. We all knew that it was a quick turnaround, and that at the end of the day, the most important game of our careers is coming in 2 days. So there's no time really to think about all that and go to bed extra late and just waste some time, to be honest.
Patrick Waring has a question from Washington, D.C. We'll conclude with Patrick.
Hey, Joel. Patrick Waring from the MBS Sports Hour. Just kind of a follow up on of talking about Baylor. You guys were supposed to play in December. Of course, you did. You didn't. Just coming from like a strategy and preparing type angle. Do you think that is there more benefit that you guys didn't play earlier this year? Like not having a rematch, not being able to them to see what you guys would do, vice versa?
I think that it's better for everybody just because the game didn't happen, but it basically is going to happen as the best game of the season. So the fans are happy. You know, the people that love basketball are happy. Personally, I don't really care, but it's obviously more fun to play a team that you never played before. But I mean, if the game had happened, you know, it would have just been more of a chess game with adjustments, and still the game would have been 4 months ago. So I think a lot of things would have changed. So.
Joel, we want to thank you for your time with us this afternoon. Best of luck tomorrow night against Baylor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.
We'll be joined by Baylor head coach Scott Drew in just a few moments, followed by Davion Mitchell, student athlete from Baylor. That's going to be under that separate link. We'll see you over there in just a moment. Also, a reminder that the recording of this news conference will be in the digital media hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you for joining us. Baylor in about 10 minutes.